Suddenly we get this training to do, and it's all to do with attacking airports and taking out missiles and all the rest. When you put two and two together, it's to do with the Exocet missiles, because the Exocets have started to kill ships. They're ship killers.
What had now become apparent was that the target was going to be Rio Grande airfield on the Argentinian mainland, which was the home for the Étendard aircraft equipped with the Exocet missile, which by that stage had already sadly sunk the Sheffield. Problems that we had with that was this was going to be a 13-hour flight all the way around, and it wasn't entirely clear where we were going to go should we survive the landings. For me, where we were going to go after we landed was not really a major thought, because I didn't see us that we were surviving the landing.
So what do you refuel it with? You refuel it with, the only aircraft that we had then was these huge great planes that they used to refuel the Vulcan bombers with. And they are jet, obviously, and we're in a turboprop. So you get to that point where the Hercules can't go fast enough and the jet refueler can't go slow enough. So what happens? And we all get a look at this, but basically the Hercules is flying along, the jet comes along and it gets in front, and then what happens is it goes into a shallow dive. This allows the Hercules to get the speed up to connect, and it's during this point that the refueling takes place. If it doesn't, if this goes wrong, we're not going back to Ascension Islands, we're going to Brazil. But it works. And the refueling takes place, it goes away, and I remember watching it turn, and we carry on our journey.
They were then transshipped to one of the aircraft carriers, and from there they were fed into a Sea King, which then took them into the Argentinian mainland to drop them off about 10 miles northwest of Rio Grande, our target. Unfortunately, there was very bad weather and they had to route round some unknown oil wells that were not on their 1937 map either. And by the time they got to the area, it was fog-bound. There were lights reported in the area, and they took the decision to abort and fly west towards Chile. They went over the border, landed there, the recce team got out and decided they were now going to go east and march the 70 odd miles to the target area and see what they could find. Unfortunately, they were out there in Patagonia in the austral winter, in the middle of a blizzard, and they lasted 3 days. When they run out of food, the batteries and the radios run out, and they eventually aborted the entire thing and were recovered back to the UK subsequently. The helicopter crew itself, the plan was for the helicopter to be landed in a lake in Chile and sunk. They tried that, but the thing wouldn't sink, so it then flew to the shore where they set it on fire, and they then went into the hills around Punta Arenas and evaded and kept concealed for 3 days and 3 nights. Of course, that made the headlines, and politically it was quite embarrassing that a task force helicopter had arrived in Chile unannounced. When we found out about the problems that the recce patrol were having and that they were never going to get to Rio Grande to provide the vital intelligence that we needed. Things like, are they keeping the runway lights on at night? What kind of defences have they got? Is the runway ice covered? Are we definitely going to be landing with this 20-knot tailwind? I was absolutely astonished that the word that we got back from the UK via the SAS and their SATCOM links was that we were to proceed with Mikado as planned. For us, I suspected that the aeroplanes would be destroyed on the runway if we got that far. And subsequent investigation has revealed that there were 1,500 Marines on that airfield that we didn't know about. And there were 4 sets of Rheinmetall radar-laid anti-aircraft guns, 2 on either side of the runway, that would have pointed straight down the approach as we were coming in, firing 4,000 rounds of ammunition at us from each gun. We knew that the Argentinians had 5 Exocets, and we knew that they'd fired 2 at the Sheffield, 2 at the Atlantic Conveyor. So as far as I was aware, they only had 1 missile left. The risk and reward didn't make any sense at all to me, and I'm quite happy to go and crash and die while I'm resupplying the task force, because that was vital. Having lost the Atlantic Conveyor and so much equipment, we were then taking a lot of that equipment, vital equipment that needed replacing, down to the task force. So I just thought we needed to focus on what we were doing with the task force, and Mikado needed to die a natural death.
And this is not sort of planning where they're going to recover you and all the rest of it. This was go in, kill the ship killers, the Exocet missiles, and then run for your life and try and get out by your own way. And that's what would have happened. So that was the one-ended mission. Luckily, it didn't happen. What's interesting is that the British Army would have still done an operation like that for the sake of what it would have saved. And we were prepared to do it.